the salad-eating patient zero. The drama kicks off with a boy sprinting away from a pharmaceutical company because, surprise, surprise, a top-secret experiment failed. Apparently, safety protocols aren't a thing in this universe. He's turned into a zombie, but instead of finding a high-density brain buffet, he wanders into a quiet village. The villagers are so hilariously out of the loop they don't even run. If a grey, growling man walks up to you, maybe don't offer him a cup of tea. Just a thought. Naturally, the only one with any survival instincts is a local dog, which starts chasing our undead protagonist. The zombie, who is clearly failing at being a monster, hides in a public restroom. Enter Kim, the patriarch of our main family, and the man about to have the worst day of his life. Kim walks in to investigate the barking, and the zombie immediately bites him on the head. Not the arm, not the leg, the head. That's a bold choice for a first meal. While Kim's friends do the brave thing and run away while calling an ambulance, the zombie bumps into Lily, Kim's daughter. She sees a bloody man running like he's got a glitch in his physics engine and assumes he's just a regular criminal. Her solution? A swift kick. Honestly, I respect the vibe, but maybe don't play tag with the guy covered in infectious blood. Then we have Min, the younger son, arriving from the city for a vacation. He sees his sister being chased by a gore-covered marathon runner and joins the panic. Just as the zombie is about to close the gap on Lily, he gets absolutely leveled by a truck. The driver? John, Kim's eldest son. Talk about a family reunion. John is terrified he's just committed vehicular manslaughter, but the zombie just pops back up like a whack-a-mole and scampers off. Back at the Kim household, we find out Yong's wife is pregnant. Yong treats her like glass, mostly because she has a dangerous background. I'm guessing she's the only one in this family who actually knows how to throw a punch. Kim eventually returns from the hospital with a head wound he refuses to explain, opting instead to sit in his minivan and throw a midlife crisis tantrum. As night falls, our zombie, who I'm convinced is just lost, hides in Kim's garage. Kim, meanwhile, is busy daydreaming about Hawaii. Sir, you have a literal hole in your head. Maybe focus on the tetanus shot before the luau? Lily hears noises, finds the zombie, and then Kim shows up for a rematch. Recognizing his attacker, Kim decides to skip the dialogue and starts beating the zombie. The whole family gathers to watch the garage brawl. To be helpful, one of them kicks the zombie so hard he gets impaled on a metal rod. They think he's dead, again, but he starts moving. Finally, some logic enters the room when Min points out, "Hey, I've seen this in movies. It's a zombie." It took them an hour of runtime and a metal rod to figure out what the rest of the world knew in 1968. They managed to trap him, and Min explains the golden rule. To survive, you have to kill what's already dead. Yong, however, is a big fan of denial and refuses to believe his dad is turning. He handles this by beating up the messengers. Classic. Kim eventually wanders back into the house and sits down looking fine which in this family means hasn't tried to eat the neighbours yet. The tension is high until Kim sneezes. Naturally, everyone panics. Min knocks his own father unconscious for the second time today, which earns him another beating from Yong. It's a cycle of violence, really. Later, Lily wanders out to the garage and gives the zombie some food. It turns out he's a vegetarian zombie. He's the first lab experiment, so he's innocent, harmless, and apparently cares about his fibre intake. Lily decides she likes him and names him Park, but the family's business savvy, red sociopathy, kicks in. Yong's wife sneaks in and pulls out all of the zombie's teeth. You know, just casual DIY dentistry on a supernatural creature. Meanwhile, Kim notices a weird side effect of his head wound. He's getting younger. His wrinkles are vanishing, his energy is up, and he realizes the zombie bite is better than Botox. Suddenly, the zombie isn't a monster. He's a luxury skincare product. Kim starts treating Park with affection, which is code for "I'm going to exploit you." Word spreads that Kim is the village's new Benjamin Button, and people start lining up with bags of cash. Kim is ready to open the zombie spa, but there's one problem. The zombie is missing. Min, ever the opportunist, has kidnapped Park to sell him to a lab in the city. The hustle never sleeps, but apparently common sense does. The multi-level marketing apocalypse. So, Min is speeding toward the city with a kidnapped zombie in the back, probably dreaming of all the designer gear he's going to buy with his undead human trafficking money. But, plot twist, the police actually do their jobs for once and pull him over. When they find a grey tied-up teenager in the trunk, Min's defense is literally, "Officer, I swear he's a zombie." Surprisingly, the police, who clearly haven't watched a movie since 1995, don't buy the supernatural creature excuse and haul him to the station. The Kim family rushes in, lying through their teeth to tell the cops that the zombie is actually their long-lost son. Because nothing says stable household like claiming a non-verbal, skin-peeling monster is part of the family tree. They get Park back home, but Lily noticed something is off. She tries to feed him his favourite cabbage, but Park is just staring at it like it's a math equation he can't solve. The realization hits. His teeth are gone. Lily's furious, demanding to know who performed the grandpa-style extraction. Everyone points fingers, but let's be real, it was Yong's wife. She's the only one in this house with the backbone to actually do something, even if that something is unlicensed dental surgery on a mutant. Kim is devastated, not for Park's health, but for his wallet. He's already taken massive cash advances from the village elders for the Fountain of Youth treatment. His solution? He crafts a set of fake, snap-on zombie dentures. This is no longer a horror movie. It's a DIY craft channel gone horribly wrong. The family officially opens for business. They lure in the elderly villagers, smear some ketchup on them for theatrical effect, and let Park give them a little love nibble. It's painful, it's unsanitary, and it's definitely a HIPAA violation, but the villagers are so desperate to be young again, they don't even care. The Kims are rolling in cash, and for a second, it looks like capitalism has defeated the apocalypse. But then, the ultimate betrayal. Kim pulls a classic dad move and disappears to Hawaii with all the money. He literally traded his family's safety and a zombie for a floral shirt and a beach chair. Legend. This leaves the rest of the family broke and stuck with a house full of energetic, rejuvenated old people. Min tries to sell Park again. Honestly, points for persistence. But Yong's wife shuts that down. Meanwhile, Lily and Park are having a Beauty and the Beast moment at a cabbage farm. She's trying to get him to say her name, but Park is too busy living his best coleslaw life. It's almost cute until you remember he's a walking bioweapon who only has teeth because of a hot glue gun. The town is thriving. The petrol pump is renovated, and Park is getting a K-pop star makeover. They're taking him to restaurants like he's a normal teen, and not someone who needs a refrigerator for a bedroom. But the peace is shattered when Lily overhears Min making another deal to sell Park to a lab. Lily, being the only one with a soul, takes Park to the woods and leaves him there to save him from her own family. Unfortunately, saving him just means leaving a highly infectious creature in a forest. Min finds him easily because Park has the survival instincts of a ham sandwich and heads to the bus station. But the Fountain of Youth side effect finally hits its expiration date. Instead of staying young, the villagers start turning into actual brain-hungry zombies. The bus station turns into a mosh pit of the undead. Min realizes his merchandise is now the trendsetter for a citywide collapse and runs for his life. Within hours, the town is a chaotic mess of formerly young people biting everyone in sight. It turns out, when you use a zombie as a Botox alternative, there are some pretty significant terms and conditions you should have read. Explosions, immunity, and one massive lawsuit. The town has officially gone from Benjamin Button to World War Z in record time. Min is currently playing a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek under a truck at the bus station, trying to call the cops. Only one problem. The dispatcher is probably currently gnawing on a stapler. His phone rings because of course it does, attracting every zombie in a 5-mile radius. Min manages to hijack a truck, but in his expert getaway, he accidentally exposes a hiding police officer who immediately gets turned into a snack. Nice job, hero. Back at the Kim fortress, things are looking grim. Lily is alone in the garage when Park, our original veggie-loving patient Zero, strolls in. She screams like she hasn't spent the last 3 weeks feeding him coleslaw, and before she can even warn the others, the house is surrounded. Yong's wife, who is very pregnant and very done with this movie, tries to fight them off, but they're forced to retreat to the roof. Naturally, in the middle of a literal apocalypse, Yong's wife remembers she left her money bag inside. Because if you're going to be eaten by your neighbours, you might as well be wealthy, right? She barely makes it back to the roof before the garage becomes a mosh pit. Min arrives in his stolen truck and tries to use firecrackers to fight the undead. Genius. All that does is turn the Kim house into the town's loudest, brightest dinner bell. Inside the minivan on the roof, the situation goes from bad to medical emergency. Yong's wife goes into labour. While the zombies are trying to break the windows, she's busy bringing a new life into this nightmare. Min and Yong decide to use the Walking Dead camouflage technique, pretending to be zombies to reach the truck. They're actually doing a decent job until they realise they forgot the keys. They turn on the lights to look for them, which is basically like waving a free buffet sign at the crowd. Lily tries to help, but Park, the only character with any actual character development, steps in to save her. He shoves her into the safety of the van, while the petrol pump's sound system accidentally switches on. Suddenly, it's a zombie disco. The loud music distracts the horde long enough for Yong to sprint back into the house for the keys. He finds them, but he's cornered. He pulls a heroic sacrifice move, tossing the keys to Min and telling them to save themselves. "I just wish I could live a little longer," he says. "Sir, maybe don't start a zombie MLM next time." Min breaks down for exactly 3 seconds before hitting the gas, dragging the minivan and the newborn baby away from the chaos. Yong somehow makes it into the van, but he's already sporting a fresh bite mark. Meanwhile, Lily looks back to see Park standing in a sea of leaking petrol. Park looks at her, finally says her name, Lily, and flicks a lighter. The whole place goes up in a glorious cabbage-scented explosion. The next morning, the Kims are grieving until, surprise! Dad's back from Hawaii. He's alive, tan, and completely human, despite being the first one bitten. The news finally catches up and explains that some people have natural immunity. Their blood is basically a DIY vaccine. The family realizes that instead of selling youth, they can now sell the cure. They start a new business, old habits die hard, of curing the townspeople one by one. Park somehow survived the massive fireball, because why not, and turns back into a handsome human. Even Yong is cured. The movie ends with the family fixing their mess, turning the village back to normal, and presumably waiting for the inevitable lawsuits for the unlicensed dentistry and accidental town-wide infection. The moral of this story is as clear as a zombie's complexion after a cabbage facial. Greed is a pre-existing condition that no vaccine can cure. The Kim family proved that if you give a person the choice between saving the world and starting an unlicensed, highly infectious multi-level marketing scheme, They'll pick the MLM every single time. Whether it's charging the elderly for zombie Botox or selling your undead friend to a lab for the third time in a week, the real monsters weren't the ones eating brains. They were the ones with the calculator apps.